have now, or the flip side of that is how can I improve my market share? And rather, long term, how do we build healthier communities? How do we widen the pie? And how do we start now and establish success in the future? And I think that's something that this is a transactional business. And so as you think through that, there are all these different, I think, data requirements, or I don't want to even say tricks, but they kind of are, like little tools, little things like, all right, well, one of the problems that we see is that some of these different strategies may take time to work. So how do you keep people on board with that? We use a lot of different visual tools, always, using the idea of here's opportunity, where you have gaps, how do you fill gaps? Because those are, pictures, that people understand. But you have to still keep people moving in that process with, using numbers to provide milestones, so that there's always a feeling that there's something, better ahead, or something that you're making progress. Another key piece that I think is critical is that all of these strategies, we've heard about different ones. It's really important that we think about things in a comprehensive way. There are multiple gaps to fill, and they're all interrelated. So one of the things we see that being successful are lenders who don't just say, okay, the solution I have is I'm going to hire more LOs of color. Okay, so what's your product mix with that? You have to make sure that all of these different pieces of your strategies are aligned. And that's hard to coordinate, which leads me to my next point, which is the third thing that's really important is kind of shifting the idea of marketing to education and outreach. How do you collaborate? Internally, how do you, part of the marketing process isn't just making sure you're educating your borrowers and the professionals, it's you becoming educated into what their needs are. So, we can assume that, hey, I have, people need this, they want this. Have you asked? Have you made sure that, one of the biggest challenges could be something small, like, I was talking to a lender in St. Louis who was underscored the importance of and how difficult it was to wait for weekly paychecks. So they incorporated into their policies and their program something that allowed more of that, day pay, for day laborers and people who can't necessarily make it to the Friday. How do you change how things are done from a checking perspective to make sure that all those pieces in a plan add up? And I think going back to that collaborative piece, all the lenders can look at the same data, because the data on a market is the data on a market. It's a fact. But what's great to watch is that even though people see the same information, whether it's through special purpose credit programs, standalone DPAs, everybody's kind of finding their special strategy. And if they talk about each other, what it does is it makes sure that every one of the borrowers has a place to go. It may not be with you, but it will be with somebody. And that fundamentally keeping everyone involved in the homebuyer journey, I think that's what's going to make it work. And again, the way that we assist with that is making sure that the data is there to inform all of those unique strategies.